This guy reversed his hair loss with a really special approach to RU58841. And in this video, we'll go over his hair loss, what he tried, what didn't work, and well, how he got his density back and which protocol he ended up with in the end. What is up, guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to take a look at, well, a pretty remarkable hair loss transformation that mainly consists of RU58841, a special cycle of topical Finasteride, and a bit of Ketoconazole shampoo. And I wanted to share this protocol with you guys since it's firstly very detailed, but he also took a very interesting approach to reversing his hair loss. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Philippe, and I used to wear a cap all day because I had no hair, and now I try and share what I've learned so you won't have to wear a hat as well as I did. So he starts by telling us that he is around 26 now, and until he was 24 he never actually had any problems with hair loss. Mind you, this is really interesting that he has been on TRT since he was 18 and he still managed to pull this off. But at 24 he started having problems with aggressive hair loss, although I believe that he actually had been losing hair for years and might just only noticed it at 24. You all know how this works, guys. When we notice our hair loss, we probably already lost about the first 50% of our density. And 24 is a pretty normal age to start worrying about this. And I can actually see the stats on my YouTube channel for my audience, and I know that most of my audience range between 18 years old and up until 40 years old. So 25 would make him the most generic classic guy with hair loss on CRT though. He starts out with a mix of Ketoconazole shampoo and caffeine shampoo, which of course really didn't help him. And 7 months later he decides to give RU58841 a shot for a few months. He then says, within the first week the inflammation, or the infamous DHT itch, completely faded away. Also, I felt my overall scalp health, especially the scalp tension, improved, and my hair literally felt thicker and stronger day by day. Then he continues to tell how his hair at the top just got as thick as the hair on his side, which then made him decide that he didn't really need RU58841 anymore, and then quit using it. He quit using it, and within 6 weeks his hair loss went from, well, decent to completely nuts again. And if you haven't seen my vlog where I tried out different approaches to hair loss protocols, I had the same experience 1 year ago where I actually quit RU58841, and at week 7 I was losing hair at such an accelerated speed that I actually went back on 100 milligrams of RU58841 daily to fix the damage more or less that I have done, and this is the same more or less he did. Now the next thing he decides to add is topical Finasteride, and he kept this as a last resort because he believes that RU58841 is much safer and way more effective. But now he needs all that he got, just as I mega-dosed RU58841 when I did the same stunt. But another twist to the story is he claims that 5-AR enzymes take about 5 weeks to recover, and I don't really agree completely with this statement, but this is his claim. And hence he only adds topical Finasteride at 0.25 milliliters 3 times weekly at a 0.1 solution. And after 1 week, 3 times weekly Finasteride, he would then take 5 weeks off and then just stay on RU58841. Now, enzymes is something you produce all day long, and when you say that you're going to wait only to get them back up, I also mean that at the same time, while you are transitioning from low DHT to high DHT, half of the time you actually spend in the upper 50% of that range, at least for the last 2.5 weeks. So you are exposed to a lot of DHT in that sense, and it really doesn't make sense to me to do it in that way. If you have problems with topical Finasteride, as he says, then I would suggest to go to 0.05 milliliters 2 times weekly and keep on doing that, instead of just, blasting your enzymes out 1 week and then let them get back together for 5 weeks to just do it all over again. It seems really unnecessary. But of course, this is just my opinion. He then continues to explain that he is still considering a hair transplant, which makes, well, good sense to me. Now he got his overall density back. You know, at the end of the day, he is the guy who has to be happy when he wakes up and look into the mirror. So I also found a phrase that I thought had significance when we look at this amazing transformation. I work out 5 to 6 days a week. I drink no alcohol, do not smoke or have any other health conditions. And my diet is super clean. So if you have seen some of my other videos, you know very well at this point that I've been doing a lot of research on just general health and hair loss. And I do just find it remarkable to see it in a transformation and that he also cared to think about this himself. And this is just some food for thought. To summarize what he used to get these results, and I'm going to order them as I think he meant that they had importance to him. First off, RU58841 at a 5% solution. He used 1 to 1.5 milliliters daily, and I'm actually using around 1.5 myself. But instead of having to put 1.5 milliliter, I actually just use an 8% solution. That way it has the same strength as 1.5 milliliters, but I only have to worry about 1 milliliter on my scalp to keep control of. And before you guys ask where you can buy RU58841 in the comment section, just take a look in the description, there's links. And also, if you go to AnagenInc.com, you can use the code ALPHAMODE and get a 10% discount on the whole store. Then he proceeds to use topical finasteride 3 times weekly at 0.25 milliliters at 1% strength every 6th week. Even though he says that he got side effects, and I don't really agree with his approach to doing this, he still says that it worked out for him. And guys, so he's using Ketoconazole shampoo 3 times weekly, and that is the same that I do more or less. I have no comment on this at all. And then he adds his vitamin supplement regime, and he is using 400 international units of vitamin E. And I actually think this is fairly logical. Usually you should get around 20 international units of vitamin E, but I have heard of cases where you get 400 as a standard practice against the season sickness. And I would advise you to be very cautious with this vitamin because too much of it can have pretty adverse side effects like blood thinning and stroke. So it's definitely not something that you want to mess around with. But that is all I have to comment on his vitamins. He talks about scalp massages, and I have been through the evidence behind scalp massages, and to get any kind of effect we are looking at 30 minutes plus a day. And I just don't think that's a good use of your time. I would rather spend it on microneedling since there's evidence that supports the same mechanisms of action from 2 times weekly therapy of microneedling. But once again, each has his own way of doing things. So considering that he is mainly using about 75 milligrams of RU588 daily, and what equivalates to 0.001% of topical finasteride daily if you spread out his dosing instead of doing that scalp blast he is doing. Then he's adding scalp massages combined with vitamins, and considering if he added some microneedling and maybe got the side effects of finasteride in check and took some microdoses on a daily basis instead of blasting cruise style as he is doing currently. And regarding the vitamins, I mean, I take the same stuff that he does. I don't make a dose on them since it can have pretty adverse side effects as I just mentioned, and I personally do cherish my life more than my hair. So if you take a daily multivitamin, you get all bases covered unless something is wrong with you, of course. But keep in mind that is my personal opinion, it is not advice. My advice would be to go and get things mapped out with a professional doctor, and that is always my advice. But guys, take from this whatever you want. I don't have anything else for now, so if you have 5 seconds, I would really appreciate if you put a like in there, and if you want to see more of these videos from me, hit the subscribe button so you get updates when I post new videos. And if you just want to know more about hair loss right now, I have a video on how to apply RU58841 coming up here somewhere, and you feel free to click on that if you want to know more about these things. I'll see you.